Gallardo made his major league debut against San Francisco a couple of seasons ago. Has had good success against the Giants, and his first pitch of the ball game to Aaron Rowan is in there for strike one, and away we go.
Well, good numbers for Gallardo. He's currently 7th in the National League in earned run average at 3.00, coming off a very good start against the Tigers, although he did pick up a loss.
Matching up against Justin Verlander against Detroit on the road trip, final game of that road trip on Sunday. Gallardo has faced some of the game's best this year. He had a matchup with Randy Johnson, with Johan Santana, Justin Verlander. Tonight it's Matt Cain. Cain, a 9-game winner. One of those wins came against Milwaukee back in April. Rowan, a bouncer right to Casey McGee. Slick fielding third baseman handles it no problem, and one away. Well, for our Piggly Wiggly scouting report tonight on Yovani Gallardo, we go to Brewers pitching coach Bill Castro.
Well, he's got to continue doing what he's been doing the last few games, where he's early in the season when he's just pounding the strike zone, getting ahead with his fastball, and then go and work and all this stuff with the changeup and the curve and the slider. So he did a pretty good job in Detroit, attacking the side of the zone with the fastball.
Well, one of the issues that Yovani has struggled with so far this year is the base on balls. He's currently in the top 10 in a category you don't really want to be in the top 10, and that's in walks. 41 walks so far this year. Doesn't give up many base hits, but those walks have hurt him. 3
walks against the Tigers his last time out. He struck out 8. And Gallardo, until this season, really until the last 6 weeks, has been a very good command pitcher. Still is, but as Bill Castro mentioned, they'd like to see Gallardo establish the fastball, be able to use the fastball, and not so many breaking balls, especially early.
Now, one thing that Yovani was able to do so well in that start against the Tigers, establish the fastball, throw it right on the corners, and down in the strike zone. The only mistake that he made, Brandon Inge home run, a hanging slider. His fastball has been very good lately.
Randy Wynn takes a called strike 3, a fastball from Gallardo. So the game plan in place already for Yovani. 2 up, 2 down with a punch out.
And 94th strikeout of the year for Gallardo. That ranks 5th in the National League. And as we talked about the command of the fastball, he puts one right on the outside corner to Randy Wynn. Good pitch.
Gallardo beat the Giants on the 8th of April and became the first pitcher ever to hit a home run off Randy Johnson in that game. That was a 3-run home run for Gallardo. It is just as much fun to see him swing the bat as it is to watch him pitch. And a couple of very good hitting pitchers matching up against each other tonight in Gallardo and Cain.
The Brewers pitching staff has done a pretty good job swinging the bats this year.
Pablo Sandoval, they call him the Kung Fu Panda in San Francisco. Boy, has he burst onto the scene as a member of the Giants. .335 batting average, 5th best in the league, 8 homers, 35 runs batted in.
And this guy likes to swing the bat. He doesn't walk too much.
Just 22 years of age. Sandoval lines one into deep left field. Braun is back, and that one is up and out of here. Pablo Sandoval goes to the opposite field, and the Giants have the early lead tonight. This is not a team that hits a lot of home runs, but you figure Sandoval will become a home run hitter before it's all said and done.
Yeah, this guy can hit. They like this guy from the beginning of spring training. A fastball away. That's one thing he does very well. Doesn't try and pull the baseball. 45th home run of the year for the Giants. That's dead last in baseball.
And Sandoval has 9 of those 45. An incredible talent with a bat in his hands. And he shows it off here in the first inning. Now it's Molina. He lines one to right. That one is well hit, but Hart tracks it down, and the inning is over. But the Giants with a run on the board. Run with 2 outs in the top of the first has San Francisco on top to start this game. Now the Brewers coming up for the first time against Matt Cain. Subway lineup, it's Counsell, Hardy, and Braun. Hardy returns to the 2 spot tonight. The middle of the order, Fielder, McGee, and Cameron. Casey McGee gets his first try, batting 5th behind Fielder. And the bottom 3, Corey Hart, Jason Kendall, and Giovanni Gallardo. The Giants defensively with 37 errors this year. They have Wynn, Rowan, and Shearholtz in the outfield. Sandoval, Uribe, Downs, and Ishikawa around the horn, with Benji Molina catching 9-game winner Matt Cain.
Well, good numbers for Matt Cain. We talked about it on the broadcast open. The Giants have won his last 10 starts. This guy is on a roll. 9-1, a .228 earned run average. That's second best in the National League.
Cain just 24 years of age. He was in the big leagues at the age of 20. Matter of fact, he was the youngest player in the big leagues back in '05 when he first arrived. And he has truly arrived this year as a bona fide ace. And with a starting rotation that boasts Tim Lincecum, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, it has been Matt Cain who has posted the best numbers so far. Certainly pitching like an all-star. Cain looks like he's headed to the Midsummer Classic in St. Louis.
Tim Lincecum looks like he's let the locks grow out a little bit.
Still a possibility that Lincecum could pitch on Sunday here at Miller Park. The Giants are holding it close to the vest, you could say. Jonathan Sanchez scheduled to start, but the Giants had a day off, and it's possible they could bring Lincecum back, which would be on his normal day routine, but bump him up a spot in the rotations. Counsell goes down the line. That's a base hit, cut off by Wynn or not. That one gets by him. Counsell around second, on his way to third. And the throw is cut off. Counsell stays hot. A 9-game hit streak.
What a good 2-strike approach by Counsell, taking that fastball up in the zone and whistling it down the left field line. Randy Wynn having some problems with it in the corner down there. Tried to cut it off. How about Counsell getting on top of that Matt Cain fastball? About 91-92 with the fastball for Cain. Came up short, and Craig Counsell able to get into third base. There's a good start.
Counsell with a triple. So a leadoff runner at third base for the Brewers. The Giants will concede the run. The infield is back. And it's J.J. Hardy who returns to the 2-hole tonight. Hardy at .215 on the season with 6 homers, 29 runs batted in.
Yeah, Ken Maka just trying anything he can to get this offense going on a consistent basis. He's used a lot of different players in that 2 spot. He shuffled around that leadoff hitter. He's trying to get something going. Find something that's going to work.
And 2 key changes in Maka's lineup tonight. Hardy in the 2-hole, and Casey McGee gets his first crack at the 5th spot in the batting order. Such an important spot for the Brewers, that protection spot in the order behind Prince Fielder.
Yeah, put your hottest hitter behind Prince Fielder. Make sure that you might give Prince something to hit. You don't know. But Casey McGee has really been swinging the bat well. Getting opportunities at third base against right-handed pitching, keeping Matt Gamble on the bench.
And Hardy takes a called strike 3. Fastball from Cain. Hardy unable to score. Counsell from third. Scouting report tonight. The Piggly Wiggly scouting report on Matt Cain comes from Dale Swain.
He throws 3 pitches, 4 really. He mixes in a few sliders here and there too, but he's got a exploding kind of fastball. It's not the velocity that some other people have. He's at that 93, 94, but it kind of plays at about 97. He's got a lot of finish on his fastball. Pitches up in the zone, which is hard to lay off when you got a guy with some finish on his fastball.
A little bit of pop right at the end.
Ryan Braun with a base hit to right center. That's going to go to the wall. Council scores. Braun into second with a double. So Ryan Braun continues to post numbers against the Giants. And a double and an RBI ties the game in the first inning.
Well, according to Dale also, Matt Cain's going to throw a lot of fastballs and changeups. There's that slider you're talking about. A get-me-over slider to start Brawny off, and Braun didn't let it go by. Good finish means that his delivery, he follows through and throws through the catcher. Doesn't throw to the catcher and has some good life as it gets to home plate.
Council's leadoff triple, and Braun's double has this one all tied up. The Brewers have not had the early lead at all in this homestand currently. Twins took the first lead in all 3 games, and the Giants here tonight. But the Brewers wipe it out right away, and now Fielder, big cut against Cain.
Yeah, Prince has really been staying on the baseball well and has been taking the ball to left field with some power.
Struck him out, and there's that high fastball Dale Swain was referencing. It's just tough to lay off. It looks so hittable, but it's got a lot of life on it, and it's another strikeout for Cain. Check the Firestone leaderboard up above. Lowest starters ERA in the National League. The Giants are second in that category. Overall, the Giants team earned run average is the best in the National League, and that is primarily because of their bullpen. Their bullpen ERA is the best by a long shot in the National League. So not only do they have quality starting pitching, but they have a terrific bullpen, and their closer, Brian Wilson, is tied for the league lead in saves. Casey McGee drives one deep center field, and it's off the top of the wall. And McGee plates Braun. 2-1 Brewers. That missed a home run by inches.
I tell you, talk about a guy that can get the bat on the fastball. Casey McGee, about the best on the Brewers. I always talk about J.J. Hardy being a good fastball hitter, but Casey McGee hammers that one into center field. That one down a little bit. You were talking about how tough that pitch is when it's up around the letters. You get it down in the zone, and you can hammer it, and missed a home run by about 6 inches.
Right off the top of the wall. McGee drives in his 16th run of the year, and right away Maka's move to put him in the 5-hole pays off. That 5 spot in the Brewers batting order is such a key position, and it has been a revolving door for the most part this year. When the Brewers were playing their best baseball, it was Mike Cameron who was hot and hitting 5th and protecting Braun and Fielder very well. Buzz bomb in there on Cameron. Only Dan Herron has a better earned run average than Matt Cain.
Yeah, a couple of Giants sitting in number 2 and number 3. That's how good this pitching staff is.
Two and nothing on Cameron with McGee out at second. 2-1. Two runs off Matt Cain in the first inning for the Brewers. Braun and McGee with RBIs. Cameron fouls one away. The 2 runs, a noteworthy number for Matt Cain. He hasn't allowed more than 2 runs in his last 2 starts. Gave up 4 runs against Arizona on the 9th of June.
He's given up 2 runs in his last 17 innings. Not too bad. He struck out 17 in that stretch and only walked 3. I mean, look at his numbers, his season numbers. Not that big of a strikeout guy, but lately he's been racking them up.
2-2 to Cameron. Just missed. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. just off the corner, and it's 3-2. Kane coming off a no decision against the Texas Rangers his last time out, despite going 8 innings and only 1 earned run against a powerful hitting ball club. There's a breaking ball, and down goes Cameron. Kane strikes out the side, but between the strikeouts, the Brewers get 3 hits. A triple by Counsell to start it. Braun with a double and an RBI, and McGee another double and an RBI.
Brewers now through July 2nd at brewers.com.
Well, here we are billing it as a great pitching duel, and already 3 runs on the board. The Giants get a run on a Sandoval home run in the first. Brewers come back with 2 in the bottom of the first, and Gallardo 1 pitch, 1 out as he retires Ishikawa. The Giants had the day off yesterday. They played the Oakland A's in a 3-game series to start their 10-game road trip. Hardly a road trip for Bruce Bochy's bunch, however. They took 2 out of 3 from Oakland. And the Giants have won 5 out of 6 as they start play today. Now, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs is hatched in theaters July 1st. Rocket's the coolest comedy of the summer. Guaranteed.
Looking forward to it.
Little bouncer, slow roller coming in as Hardy. And the throw not in time. Nate Shearholtz beats it out, an infield hit.
But we saw a lot of those in that series against the Twins. Ordinarily teams that have hitters that put the bat on the baseball. Instead of swing and miss, you get a piece of it. And particularly left-handed batters. You hit a ball like that, you get a little bit of a head start to first base. JJ made it close, but Shearholtz able to beat it. Pretty close.
Second hit for the Giants. And a 1-out base runner for Juan Uribe. Uribe just back into the lineup for San Francisco. He's been out with a sore left hamstring. He sat about 9 days before returning to the lineup on Wednesday. Slick fielding Giants shortstop.
Yeah, putting Edgar Renteria on the bench. Renteria having a tough time so far this year. Hitting under 250, only 2 home runs.
Renteria, one of the highly touted free agent acquisitions of the year, of the offseason. But it's Uribe who has gotten the last 2 starts. He's batting .291, has 1 home run, 13 driven in. A free swinger. He does not walk much. Matter of fact, his on-base percentage just 20 points higher than his batting average.
Yeah, he's walked 4 times in 127 at bats. That's not many. Sandoval's walked 18 times in 246 at bats. A couple of free swingers on this Giants club.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Uribe. And Gallardo checks on Schierholtz. Giants don't do a lot of running. They don't hit a lot of home runs. Their offense is not their story. Bruce Bochy's club pitches well. That has kept them right in it. And they're just trying to hitch up to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League West. They've actually been able to carve a few games off their deficit with the Dodgers. Dodgers had a rough time in Chicago. The Giants able to pick up a game and a half in that last series.
Yeah, a team that's playing so well. 7 games over 500, dead last in home runs and runs scored. They've had the fewest walks of any team in the National League.
And the Giants with better records than the division leaders in the Central and the East in the National League. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Uribe. Runner takes off, line drive into center. Cameron makes the play on a hop. On his way to third goes Schierholtz. A well hit ball from Juan Uribe.
He scalded that one into center field. He hit that ball so hard it looked like Cameron might have had a play for it, but elected to play it safe. That ball get by him. It would have been big trouble for the Brewers. Well, he pitched down and away. Boy, what a swing with 2 strikes. The ball carried pretty well, had some good backspin on it, and with Schierholtz running on the pitch, able to get into third base.
Runners at the corners for Matt Downs, Giants second baseman. So offense early here tonight. Downs comes in batting .231. Has just 1 run batted in. 25-year-old had his contract purchased from AAA on June 16th. He replaced Emmanuel Burris, who is back in AAA now. Burris playing for Fresno. There's a good curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike on Downs.
Yeah, that's a pitch that Giovanni from time to time will struggle with, but Jason Kendall continues to force him to throw it because he's going to need it at some point. It's a good strikeout pitch for him.
Runner takes off. Downs swings and misses. Hit and run was on. Downs trying to protect his base runner. And that'll be a stolen base for Uribe. So second and third, but the count goes to 1 and 2.
Yeah, first stolen base of the year for Uribe. You're right. They don't run too much. That was a hit and run. He had a terrible lead. Not much of a jump, but ran on a pretty good pitch. Jason Kendall worrying more about the guy at third base, smothering in that baseball, and keep Schierholtz at third base.
Second and third, 1 away. And down goes Downs. Put that fastball right by him. 2 outs. And the second strikeout for Gallardo.
Yeah, that's what that curveball will do for you. Throw a couple of them early in the count, and then you can zip that fastball. Look at the location. Off the outside corner, and Downs with a very defensive swing.
A reminder, tonight's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin, also presented in high definition. For a complete listing of FS Wisconsin HD cable providers, go to foxsports.com, keyword Wisconsin. Matt Cain, Giants pitcher, at the plate. A guy who handles the bat well. 6 hits and 27 at-bats this year. Has 1 run batted in.
How about back-to-back curveballs to the pitcher? Gallardo threw the first one for a called strike. That one down in the zone. That's what you call respect.
Giants have 2 in scoring position in the second inning. Gallardo throws the slider for a strike.
Hadn't thrown a fastball yet to the opposing pitcher.
One and 2. Fastball missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giovanni with a couple of strikeouts early. Sandoval homered to the opposite field with 2 outs in the first inning. The Brewers got it right back with 2 in the bottom of the first. And the 2-2 curveball bounced out to Counsell. Took the bat right out of his hands. And Gallardo strands a pair of Giants aboard. Corey Hart leads off when we come back. 2-1 Milwaukee.
Here in the bottom of the second inning, the Brewers have gotten off to a really good start in a category that plagued them in the last series, and that is hitting with runners in scoring position. In the first inning, they were 2 for 4 after an 0 for 5 performance yesterday. I caught up with the Brewers hitting coach Dale Swain to see how they can become a little better in those situations, and he said the guys really got to alter their approach by making sure they take what the pitcher gives them, not trying to always go for the long ball, but maybe bloop some in the outfield, maybe just taking the ball to the opposite side of the field. And that's what Ryan Braun as well as Casey McGee were able to do in that first inning. Ryan Braun going right center and Casey McGee just absolutely crushing one to center. So we'll see if they can continue that success. But the Giants have struggled in that category as well, going 3 for 33 in their last 4 games. So it's good to see the Brewers are off to a good start in that department.
Yep, a couple of hits in that first inning to produce runs. Braun and McGee answering a 1-run first inning for San Francisco.
And all 3 of the Brewers base hits to the opposite field. Craig Counsell's triple. Casey McGee back through the middle, and as Telly was talking about, Ryan Braun to the opposite field.
Corey Hart starts it out for the Brewers. Hart, Kendall, and Gallardo due up here in the second inning against Matt Cain. On a picture-perfect night for baseball in Milwaukee. This is more like Milwaukee weather in the summer. Temperature's a lot cooler today. Uribe guns down Hart for out number 1. Well, the Brewers come in with 84 home runs for the season. Powerball home run leaderboard still has Prince Fielder at the top of the list. Prince homered yesterday, his 18th home run of the season. The Brewers got 3 homers yesterday, but came up short, 6-4 to the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, only 3 home runs of the series against Minnesota. Good to have those guys out of town.
And apparently they took the heat with them. Now you're hoping the Twins stay hot in St. Louis.
Yeah.
As they start an interleague series tonight. Twins already up 2-0. Kendall pops out to Downs, and it's 2 away. This is the only non-interleague game going on in the big leagues tonight. The Giants and the Brewers. Everybody else matching up with opposite leagues, and some great rivalries going on in interleague baseball this weekend. You've got Mets-Yankees. You have Cubs-White Sox. Cubs beat the White Sox earlier today, despite a late rally by the Southsiders. The Brewers are more than happy to be done with interleague baseball. Another rough year on the interleague schedule. 5 wins, 10 losses. Kane barehands it, and Gallardo is out. 3 up, 3 down inning for Matt Kane. To the 3rd we go from Miller Park. Presented by Blaine Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. And tonight's Carsoup.com email the booth question. Christy from Sun Prairie wants to know, is the entire NL Central struggling right now?
Yes.
Answer is yes. That's a yes/no question, and the answer is yes. Matter of fact, you look at the last 10 games for the entire division, all 6 teams, all struggling mightily.
Yeah, for those,
Interleague has not been kind to the Central.
Well, for those that tuned into Brewers Live, we talked about the issues that the Central has had. The Brewers have lost 11 of the last 16 and only lost 2 games to the standings. They started that 16-game stretch, a game up on the Cardinals. Right now, after that tough stretch, a game behind the Cardinals, so it could be a lot worse right now.
Top of the order for the Giants here in the 3rd. Aaron Rowand has been hitting leadoff in his very unusual stance. That was the biggest surprise for me, Rock. Just looking over this Giants lineup, preparing for the series, the fact that they have used Rowan as a leadoff hitter. That takes a little creativity as a manager. Not your prototypical leadoff hitter, but Bochy likes his power in the leadoff spot. He likes the home run threat at the top spot in the order.
Yeah, just like when Ricky Weeks was leading off for the Brewers, there's nothing like having a 1-0 lead when your team just starts their at bats. Bruce Bochy, trying to do whatever he can to try and generate some offense, just like Ken Maka right now.
Rowan swings, according to the home plate umpire Paul Nart, and down he goes. So a strikeout for Gallardo. Rowan was asking Nart to ask for help. Paul Nart said, "I don't need it."
A little bit too late. It looked pretty close, but the home plate umpire pointing at the hitter, saying, "Yes, you went." Pretty close, but he's not out until Kendall tags him.
Rowan starting his 32nd game as the leadoff hitter for the Giants tonight.
He's been doing well in that spot. I mean, maybe getting a few more fastballs early in the game. Getting some good at bats. Whatever it takes to get somebody going. You never know. You never know what it could be.
Randy Wynn struck out in the first inning. Gallardo struck him out on a fastball. Wynn hitting .265 with a couple of home runs and 27 runs batted in. It's a bit of a down year for Randy Wynn, a guy who feels he is a 300 hitter, has proven he can hit 300 in the big leagues. That one's down the line. Braun makes the catch, picked it up right off the ground. Shoestring catch for Ryan Braun. 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, I'm putting a circle around that one. That was a tremendous play by Ryan going toward the line. The fact that Ryan has shortened up a little bit out in the outfield, doesn't play as deep as he used to, able to get there fully stretched out. That's a nice play. And only the speed of Ryan Braun allowed him to make that catch.
Well, he has center fielder speed. He's got a right fielder's throwing arm, and that's why Ryan Braun expects a future Gold Glove in left field one of these days. He thinks he is among the elite left fielders defensively in the National League right now, and he's right.
Yeah.
Hard to believe it's only his second year at the position.
Well, he's got center field speed and a right fielder's arm. He's got a tremendous accurate throwing arm in the outfield. And he's getting much better breaks on the baseball. Better routes, making a lot more tougher catches.
Sandoval chases one. That's the book on Sandoval. He, as Rock mentioned, will not walk much, and he's been known to chase out of the strike zone, but one of the problems with Sandoval, he can get hits out of the strike zone.
I guess maybe the best way to pitch him is to throw the ball down the middle. Kind of like Vlad Guerrero.
0-2 to Sandoval. Didn't chase that one.
Well, even the home run that he hit was up and away. I mean, on the corner, but up in the zone, allowing Sandoval to get a bat on it. And one of those guys that, from time to time, you'll bust him inside and he'll whistle one to the opposite field. I mean, he's got that kind of bat path through the strike zone. You don't know where he's going to hit it. He's a tough guy to defend.
Brewers play him straight away, and he chases one out of the zone. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And Sandoval is going on strikes number 4 for Yovani Gallardo. To the bottom of the third we go. 2-1 Crew. Bernie is ready to slide tonight. What a great view up there. Bernie's got a good seat, doesn't he? Sellout crowd on hand tonight at Miller Park. And Jesse up there in the higher reaches of the stadium. Top of the order. Craig Counsell leads off. He tripled in the first inning and then scored on Braun's hit. Braun doubled into right center to drive in the first run. Counsell had a scare yesterday. Could have been a very bad injury at second base. A bunt. Molina takes care of Counsell.
Hey fans, follow your team on your iPhone or iPod Touch with MLB.com At Bat 2009. That features play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Visit Brewers.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase.
I was talking to Counsell before the game today, Rock, and yesterday he turned a double play in the first inning. His foot came out of his shoe, and that might have been the only thing that saved a serious injury, either to his ankle or his knee. And Kendall and Casey McGee were all talking to Counsell about how lucky he was. And Counsell thought he was hurt badly when it first happened.
And I talked to Jim Gantner today during batting practice, and he blew his knee out in a very similar type play at second base, turning a double play. He ended up having to have ligament replacement surgery and said it reminded him a lot of that collision yesterday. I was watching on television back at home. That is a tough position, playing second base. Not many people think about how tough you have to be able to stand in there and turn that double play with a guy coming at you. You really can't see him, particularly on a ball coming from the shortstop.
Hardy lines one center field, way back there. Rowan looks up, and it's gone! J.J. Hardy. His 500th career hit is a home run to dead central. Number 7 for Hardy. And it's 3-1 Brewers.
Now, two of the best fastball hitters on the ball club have squared up pretty well on a Matt Cain fastball today. JJ got one up in the zone and drove it out of here. A line drive to center field. Well, you like the approach. Up the middle to the opposite field. All 4 of the base hits for the Brewers have come that way.
Well, so Ken Baca shuffles his lineup tonight. Hardy in the 2-hole, McGee in the 5-hole, and they both delivered. McGee had the RBI double in the first. Hardy connects for the home run here in the 3rd inning. That's bobbled by Sandoval. Long throw. Just in time to get Braun. He hit it hard enough that it gave Sandoval an extra beat, and 2 gone in the inning.
And one of the things they were concerned about regarding Sandoval, they knew he was going to hit, but they were concerned that he wasn't going to be able to field his position very well at third base. He's done a pretty good job so far this year. He's only committed 5 errors. That's not bad.
A modified shift on for Fielder. Although Uribe stays on the left side of the infield, the Giants shortstop. Team starting to level off a little bit against Prince as the scouting reports and the spray charts continue to develop for Prince Fielder. It's interesting that the Giants infielders are played to pull, while the outfielders, specifically Aaron Rowan, is a step or 2 into the opposite field for Fielder.
Well, when he goes to the opposite field, it's usually in the air, not too often on the ground. That's why you see the defense like that.
And Fielder unfazed by it all. He has learned to ignore the position of the fielders especially with the extreme shift. That one's popped up in the center. And the side retired, but the Brewers get a home run from J.J. Hardy. His 500th career hit is a long ball. Number 7 for J.J.
The Giants on the board early with an opposite field home run off of Giovanni Gallardo. Casey McGee in the lineup at third base against the right-hander, and it pays off. An RBI double off the wall in center, and Jake with a home run to dead center. You like the approach for the Brewers so far against Matt Cain.
A lot of extra base hits for the Brewers. 4 hits thus far for Milwaukee. And all of them have been extra base hits as Molina skies one. High fly ball into left center. Cameron's got it. And one going to the fourth. Aflac trivia tonight. Who is the last Giants pitcher with 10 wins at this point in the season? Matt Cain sitting on 9 wins. And he's up there in some heavy company. 9 wins and 14 starts for Matt Cain. Finds himself trailing 3-1 here in the fourth.
It's got to be tough for the starting pitchers for the Giants because going out there you're not going to get a whole lot of runs. Cain has been getting more runs this year than he has in the past. A little over 5 runs a game, which isn't a whole lot, but it's a lot better than what he's been getting his first couple of years. Puts a lot of pressure on every pitch. You never know if one home run is going to beat you. Just ask Giovanni Gallardo the last time out against Detroit.
And Gallardo matching up against Justin Verlander of the Tigers. Both pitching well. Gallardo made a mistake against Brandon Inge. Inge hit a 3-run home run, and that cost Giovanni the game. A 3-2 final score. Two balls, 2 strikes on Travis Ishikawa. Playing every day at first base for the Giants this year. Ishikawa in his first full major league season. An outstanding defender, just 25 years of age. And he chases one. Gallardo strikes him out. Number 4 for Giovanni Gallardo.
A good breaking ball down and in. He's got a good one going tonight. It's a start-by-start thing for Gallardo in that curveball, and tonight's a good night.
They want to remind you, Fox Saturday Baseball has the Cubs and the White Sox tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central, only on Fox. Great rivalry between the Cubs and the White Sox. Cubs beat the White Sox today. And they'll go for game 2 tomorrow. Brewers need some help from the Southsiders. Unable to check his swing. Shearholtz goes around. Gallardo actually has 5 strikeouts. Has a strikeout in each of the first 4 innings. Picked up a pair of strikeouts in the third. Shearholtz reached on an infield hit his last time up. Shearholtz has played his way into the starting lineup here recently. Swinging a good bat for Bruce Bochy. This Giants club desperate for offense.
Yeah, Fred Lewis was the 3rd hitter in that lineup for the Giants when the Brewers opened up. Lewis really not as productive as Bruce Bochy would like, so giving somebody else a chance. Shearholtz swinging the bat pretty well. Hitting almost 300.
Former National League Manager of the Year, Bruce Bochy, did a lot of winning in San Diego. He was Trevor Hoffman's manager for most of Hoffman's years in San Diego. 12 out of the 16, I think it was, or 12 out of the 14. Giants have been a big surprise this year. I think they knew they had talented pitching. They knew they had a good closer in Brian Wilson. Question was, were they going to be able to hit enough to win games?
Well, there are a couple of surprises. I think, the fact that Matt Cain has been so dominant. Barry Zito's turned himself around just a little bit. He's still under 500, but pitching much better than he did last year. And plus their bullpen, as a group, has been very good.
Best bullpen earned run average in the National League. They are very good at home. They utilize their home ballpark as well as anyone.
And that's one of the reasons why that team has not hit many home runs. That's a tough park to hit them in, except for right field.
Gallardo strikes out Shearholtz. And another 1-2-3 inning. Strikeout number 6 for Giovanni.
in the community. The Milwaukee Brewers will host the first Brewers Block Party of 2009 tomorrow from 11 to 1 at Village Park in Brown Deer. Players and coaches, including Giovanni Gallardo and J.J. Hardy, will be on hand making an appearance tomorrow. This is the first of 3 scheduled block parties. The dates of the others: 2 are July 11th at Kern Plaza, and August 15th at Hart Park, guys.
Okay, Telly, thanks. 3-1, the Brewers lead it. Casey McGee leads off for Milwaukee. McGee, Cameron, and Hart do up against Matt Cain. Well, McGee with a double and an RBI. He missed a home run by inches. It hit just below the yellow line off the center field wall.
And his first slide of the night by Matt Cain. Right on the outside corner. Good pitch to Casey. They got to figure that Cain reluctant to throw a fastball for a strike to McGee after he hammered that last one.
Got him. Took something off that pitch, and McGee is a strikeout victim. Well, Matt Cain, 9-1 this year for the Giants, who is the last Giants pitcher with 10 wins at this point of the season. And you think about some of the great Giant pitchers, Juan Marichal, Gaylord Perry, but how about Jason Schmidt? He was 10-2.
Having a tough time getting healthy, Jason Schmidt. Well, that guy had some nasty stuff when he was healthy.
Cameron into center field. That one hooks, but right to Rowan. 2 outs. Well, how good have the Giants pitchers been this year? Best since 2002. They're 3.64 earned run average. Got to go back to 1993 for starters ERA. And how about the strikeouts per 9 innings? Best ever.
Does that include New York Giants? That goes back a long time.
Yeah, I wonder. That's a good call with Christy Mathewson.
Yeah.
The Big Six pitching for the New York Giants.
Well, the Giants lead the National League in strikeouts as far as their pitchers getting strikeouts and shutouts this year. They are good.
Hard batting with 2 outs. Grounded out to short his last time up.
They also lead the National League in complete games with 6.
Yeah.
Matt Cain with 3 of them.
One of those complete games for Cain came as a 5-inning game that was washed out by rain. Hart draws a walk. 2-out base runner. And the first walk allowed by Matt Cain tonight. So 2 outs, and it's Jason Kendall celebrating his 35th birthday today.
Well, definite running situation right here for Corey Hart. Molina throws the baseball pretty well. Got a good arm, very quick release behind home plate. You know, with Jason up, you like to have Corey in scoring position.
Kendall pops it up. Randy Wynn will make the call and the catch, and the inning is over. Brewers come up empty. They lead it 3-1 as we head to the 5th.
I think to have 3 runs off him already, it's pretty nice. He's been pitching really well, obviously, all year, and we put some good swings on him early in that first inning. Case just missed a 2-run homer, about a couple inches away, and obviously JJ crushed one to center field. So, with his stuff and this early in the game, I'm pretty happy with 3 runs right now.
Dale, tell us what you think about Craig Counsell and his ability to lead off. I mean, he's a guy that just doesn't ever really seem to do anything wrong out there on the field.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, defensively, on the bases, or hitting, he's always going to give you a great at-bat hitting. He's going to see his pitches. He's going to jump on a first pitch. He's going to, he does it all, for the strength he has and the ability he has. It's just, it's great to watch young kids and the older kids watch him and, see how a guy really is supposed to play this game.
That is Brewers hitting coach Dale Swaim, and we appreciate his time during the game tonight. 3-1, the Brewers lead it on 4 hits. And a hitting coach that is pleased with his offense's approach at the plate against a guy like Matt Cain, who does not surrender many runs.
Now 3 runs already in 4 innings, and in his last 2 starts combined, only 2 runs allowed. So yeah, he should be pleased with that start.
And 11 total bases on the 4 hits for the Brewers. All 4 hits have been extra base hits.
Now, as well as this guy's been going, talking about Matt Cain, you can't continue that start after start after start all year long. I mean, he's due for a stinker at some point. I mean, everybody goes through those. But he really hasn't had too many this year. Maybe tonight's the night.
3 balls and a strike. Uribe breaks his bat. Little soft liner out to Counsell. And 1 gone. Well, the Brewers need your help. If every Brewers fan watching this game votes the maximum 25 times online, your favorite Brewers player will be voted into the 2009 All-Star Game. By voting, you'll also be eligible to win Ryan Braun's suite for a game at Miller Park, complete with a visit from Mr. Braun. So vote Brewers now until July 2nd at Brewers.com. Ryan's never invited us to his suite. I didn't know he had a suite here at Miller Park.
Is that right?
It's nice. Yeah, I know our production crew has been there a few times.
Of course, we're not at Miller Park except for being here in the booth.
Yeah,
I mean, we wouldn't have that opportunity.
Studying. Hardy with the long throw, and Downs is retired. 2 up, 2 gone in the 5th. Gallardo has now retired 10 straight. The Giants' last hit and base runner was Uribe's single in the 2nd.
You have a suite here at Miller Park?
Oh yeah, a couple of them.
Did they include that in your
yeah,
big
it's
deal?
part of the deal.
A 10-year deal?
Mm-hmm. I got yours too. So it mostly just sits empty, Don't do much with it.
My suite's right here where we work. I just cram them in the back, empty out the Miller Lite fridge.
See that? There's mine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Those suites are easy to come by, Not hardly.
Yeah.
That is a tough ticket. The suites, have been completely renovated.
They're beautiful.
Not that we're ever asked to go up there and check them out, but I hear great things about them.
Well, after the game, we go up into the FS Wisconsin suite from time to time.
I haven't got that invitation either.
Really? The rest of us have been up there quite a bit.
You're kind of a company guy that way.
I go down on the field, do my instructional, and then I come running back up and right up to the club level, and it is nice. I mean, they are nice. They really did a nice job renovating those and making them very fan-friendly. They take real good care in there. And the food's tremendous.
It is.
I'll tell you, we go around the league, and, we sample a lot of the food around the ballparks that we go to. We're privy to that, but no food better than here at Miller Park.
We'll say hey to our buddy, the chef, Steve Lizotte. Cain bounces one to Hardy. And the side retired. Gallardo rolling right along here. That's his 3rd consecutive 3 up, 3 down inning. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
JR's Bar and Grill in Big Falls is tonight's Tavern of the Game winner. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a 2009 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Having some fun at Miller Park tonight. What a great time of year it is to be in America's Dairyland, huh? I mean, this is what it was meant to be. Great weather, temperatures in the low 80s as we got started tonight. Summerfest is going on. They're underway. We wish them the best of luck down there on the Summerfest grounds on the shores of Lake Michigan. John Bowler and his group. And all 40,000 here at Miller Park, just head on over to Summerfest after you're done.
Good time. You know, summertime in Wisconsin, here in Milwaukee. Good times had by all. All the ethnic festivals, the church festivals all around town. Place to be. And, of course, baseball here at Miller Park.
That's the best part of the summer here in Milwaukee. Now, Gallardo, his second plate appearance against Matt Cain, grounded out his last time up. And the 1-2. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cain certainly respects the offensive prowess of Gallardo. Saw it firsthand in San Francisco. Giovanni has 4 hits this year, 2 of them home runs. He homered against the Giants and homered against the Pirates. Ball 4, Gallardo draws the walk. So a leadoff base runner and the pitcher Giovanni Gallardo. And back to the top of the order as we check in with Telly.
Hey guys, I'm in right field by the kids zone, and we want to remind fans to continue to vote online because there are no more ballots here at Miller Park because these sellout crowds have really wiped them out. I'm standing by with David, and David promises to vote online. How many times? We rehearsed this now.
I'm voting Brewer about 12 times.
25. Remember?
25.
All right. We're going to have to work on David a little more. But fans, remember, you can vote up to 25 times and get your favorite Brewers into the All-Star game, guys.
And it's 25 times per email account. So I think it's understood what to do.
Yeah.
David's almost halfway there. He's all right.
David looked a little stage struck.
I mean, that's what Telly does to people.
A little stage fright. Of course, Telly is a very intimidating person out there.
Counsell batting with Gallardo at first. Extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a triple. Brewers' first batter against Matt Cain. A little half swing. They'll ask if he went. Palms down from Paul Schreiber. 2 balls and a strike on Counsell. Three and 1. Cain has 2 walks. He walked Corey Hart last inning and a leadoff walk to the pitcher Gallardo to start this frame. Back-to-back walks. 2 on with Hardy coming up. Nobody out. And that leads us to our U.S. Cellular text-to-vote question. Better addition to the game. Text in W for interleague play or Y for the wild card. 234-234 is the number. That's the short code. Courtesy of U.S. Cellular. What do you think, Rock? W or X? You like the interleague play or you like the wild card?
I like the wild card. That has been a very nice addition. Of course, some of the series in interleague play are very compelling, like some of the ones going on this weekend. The Yankees and the Mets and the White Sox, Cubs, those kind of rivalries. Brewers, Twins. I promised myself I wouldn't say that word again. Twins.
Just one more time.
But wild card is tremendous, particularly for the fans. For instance, right now, fans in San Francisco. I mean, you still have a chance to get to the postseason after, being in the same division with probably the best team in baseball right now.
The only National League game in the big leagues tonight. The Brewers and the Giants. Hardy drops a bunt down, a good one. And a little confusion there. Kane has it, throws it wildly. Everybody safe. Sandoval and Kane did not connect. The third baseman came in, stopped, Kane stopped, and that's what cost him.
Well, that's a third baseman's ball because he's got his momentum going toward third base, and he's more familiar with fielding a ball like that and throwing it to first base. Sandoval playing in on the grass. He decides to wait back. Have no idea why he didn't charge that baseball. I don't think they would have gotten JJ, even if it was a good throw. Let's see how they score that. It would definitely at least be a sacrifice, and it could be a base hit.
It's going to be ruled an infield single. Bases loaded for Braun. The Brewers can do severe damage here in the fifth inning. Kane challenged him with a fastball, put it right by him.
J.J. Hardy's due a couple of those, isn't he? The way he's been hitting the baseball hard.
Infield hit for Hardy. Two walks and a single. And Braun bounces one through the hole. A base hit. Gallardo scores. Counsell will be held. And it's 4-1 Brewers. Bases still loaded. Nobody out.
Yeah, it looked like a slider. Middle part of the plate. And Ryan Braun able to barely squeak it out of the reach of Uribe. Ryan's had a number of ground ball base hits in this homestand. It probably would have been a base hit regardless, but he gets the base hit into the outfield, and the Brewers still with nobody out.
And Fielder coming up. 4 runs on 6 Brewer hits. And that one's deep into left field. Should be deep enough. Now Wynn coming in, actually. Counsell's going to try to score. The throw from Wynn is a good one. Counsell in there. Counsell scores.
Oh, that's good coaching right there. That's good scouting reports as well. Randy Wynn not blessed with a very good throwing arm. And it looked like a ball that wasn't going to be nearly deep enough. A good job by Brad Fisher sending Counsell, who also really isn't running all that well. The throw on the mark, and look at the slide by Craig, just getting his toe on the back end of the home plate and just barely able to sneak in there. Well done. That's why you go over those scouting reports before the series. You know who you can run on and know who you can't.
Counsell has scored twice, 5-1. The Brewers lead it. Still just one out. What a great shot of Counsell getting a toe on the back point of home plate. And an RBI for Fielder, his 69th of the year.
Well, I didn't think there was any way that was deep enough to score the run. Look at Prince. High-fiving Craig Counsell.
McGee, a bouncer to Sandoval. To second for one. The turn in time. Double play that ends the inning. But the Brewers score twice. 5-1 Milwaukee as we head to the 6th. Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go, there's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing. Sellout crowd at Miller Park. And they have had a lot to cheer about tonight. 5-1, the Brewers lead Matt Cain and the Giants. As Gallardo has retired 11 straight, facing the top of the order here in the 6th. Giovanni with 6 strikeouts thus far. He's given up 3 hits to the Giants. One of those, a solo homer by Pablo Sandoval. Rowan, oh, what a pickup by McGee. The throw in time. Casey McGee is an outstanding defensive third baseman. That's his natural position. And he showed some good glove work here the last couple of days.
That was a tricky hop, that second hop. Able to go get it, a backhand, and a strong throw over to first base. Boy, the more you see that guy, I mean, we say it all the time, but the more he's out there, the more you see him on an everyday basis, the better you like him.
McGee has a hit and an RBI tonight. He's made a couple of fine plays over at third as well. Here's Randy Wynn. Last year, Randy Wynn hit .306 for the Giants and has hit over .300 in 3 of his last 4 seasons. Big cut and a miss. Gallardo challenges him with a fastball, and it's 0-2. Wynn is 0 for 2, strikeout and a lineout. Ryan Braun made a nice play on Randy Wynn back in the 3rd inning. A shoestring catch, taking extra bases away from Wynn. The Brewers get 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 singles in the 5th inning. Prior to those 2 singles, Rock, Mike Vasallo reporting that the previous 10 hits for the Brewers, extra base hits.
That's good work by Vasallo. Wow.
3-2. You sound surprised.
No. Media relations department here with the Brewers, top notch. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm surprised he was able to get that information to you while there's still ice cream.
Wynn flies out to center field. 2 up, 2 down for Gallardo. That's 13 straight. Pablo Sandoval stepping in with 2 outs. This guy has been something else for the Giants. Look at his last 17 games. 4 of his 9 home runs have come in the last 17. And a .435 batting average. Sandoval started the day batting .335. It's up to .336 with his home run in the 1st inning. And you talk to those who cover this club. He's an exciting player to watch. We saw it a lot this spring. Of course, we saw it in the 1st series, but he's a lot like Prince Fielder in the fact that he loves to play the game and has a smile on his face, but he's very competitive. He's just an intriguing guy to watch. Bouncer out to JJ. And Gallardo, another 3 up, 3 down inning. 14 straight retired by Giovanni. Montgomery, Pablo Sandoval started it for the Giants in the first inning with a home run, but the Brewers came right back, got a double from Braun to tie it, and then McGee almost went yard against Kane. It ended up being a double. J.J. Hardy hit one over the fence in center field in the third inning. It was 3-1 Brewers. Braun drives in his second of the game in the fifth inning, and then Fielder with a sacrifice fly, scoring Craig Counsell, who made a great slide to get in there for the fifth run. 5-1 Brew Crew. And between innings, the Clements Racing Sausages just about wiping out Benji Molina. Look out! It's funny every time. Benji Molina. A little panic set in there, I think.
I don't blame him. I mean, it's not often you walk out to your position and you almost get attacked by 5 sausages.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, ever since Randall Simon, the Sausages have been the aggressor with Major League ball players.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Here they come. Watch Benji. Panic right here.
Now, every one of the sausages now has its own T-shirt.
That's right.
Here at Miller Park, you can buy them in the fan zones. They are very famous, those Clements boys.
We show up to the booth the other day, and there's a nice display of Clements sausages in our booth back here. The T-shirts, anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of an extension of the fan zone down there, right?
Right.
Cameron draws the walk. Leadoff walk given up by Kane. It's his 4th walk in the last 3 innings. So a leadoff runner aboard, and it's Corey Hart now. Hart walked his last time up. Hart 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up, and he slices that one foul. Did you say you wanted to see the T-shirts, Ron?
Awesome.
Right.
Yep.
Get out of the way.
They brought the Polish, the Italian, the hot dog, the chorizo.
There you go. Those are nice. Now, do those have to go back, or are those, kind of up here for us? Because I wouldn't mind kicking it down into Summerfest with some of those T-shirts.
Yeah. I have a feeling your daughter's going to be wearing one of those real soon.
No balls and 2 strikes on Hart. Now Matt Cain with 4 walks in this game. He's given up 6 hits. The Brewers have 5 runs. And Gallardo just cruising right along. Gallardo hasn't allowed a hit since the 2nd inning. One gone as Hart strikes out. That is number 5 for Kane. Kane struck out the side in the first inning, but the Brewers scored twice in the first.
And just rearing back and letting one fly right down the middle of the plate, and Corey a little behind it.
Most runs allowed all year, 5. Second time this year. He gave up 5 runs to the Rockies in his only loss of the season back on the 7th of May.
It's awfully difficult for anybody to continue the pace that Matt Cain has been on.
Game's not that easy, right?
Yeah, it's not. And you just can't really have that kind of stuff and that kind of success night after night. Everybody has an off night. Really having a tough time commanding his fastball. Really, since the end of the fourth inning. All of his walks have come with 2 outs or after 2 outs in the fourth.
Kendall is 0 for 2. Kendall's changed his batting stance a little bit. I don't know if it's because of his birthday or what, but Kendall's not as wide open as he has been.
Yeah, Jason, one of those guys that'll tinker with his batting stance, put his hands in a different spot, toy with his weight distribution up at the plate and his setup. Whatever feels comfortable that particular night. And he's not the only hitter that does that.
Kendall's left foot used to be near the front left corner, the third base corner of the batter's box. Wide open stance, and then he would crash in. That's why he's a good opposite field hitter. And not so spread out.
Sometimes when you have that much movement, when you have your front foot having to move so far in your setup with a guy that throws pretty good, throws pretty hard, has good life to his fastball, it's tough to keep your timing, so you try and simplify things. Just try and get on top of the baseball. Less movement the better ordinarily.
Cameron takes off. The hit and run on as Kendall fouls it away. Well, a lot of guys make adjustments. Even Prince Fielder made a slight adjustment in his stance this year. He dropped his elbow down, his lead elbow. Used to stick up and out, and he put it down, and it led to instant power.
He's showing you.
There it is. Thanks, Prince. See the lead elbow? Down now. Cameron takes off again. Kendall throws the bat, and the ball is in and out of the glove of Uribe. Cameron is safe.
A stolen base for Cameron.
Cameron has 4 stolen bases this year. 3 of them have come against the Giants.
Yeah, 2 of them in the first game of the year. Boy, that slider way off the outside corner, and Jason takes that one. It's ball 4.
Well, if Uribe hangs on to the baseball, he's got an out. Instead, a stolen base after the strikeout. Now Gallardo a chance to drive in a run. 6 strikeouts for Kane. Giovanni walked and scored in the 5th. Only his, well, that's his first walk of the year. Nice catch up there. Ken Spindler showing the good hands. Former college baseball player. See,
yeah.
The media relations department can play a little ball too.
Yes,
That's
they
nice.
can.
Well done, Ken.
Good athletes, all of them.
Gallardo down on strikes. After the leadoff walk, Kane strikes out the side. He's got 7, but Gallardo and the Brewers lead 5-1. Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Giants tomorrow, then Sunday. We're on WMLW tomorrow. Note Monday's start time. That is a 5:30 air time and a 6 p.m. first pitch. So I know many of your tickets, if you have tickets to that game, it says 7:05, but actually it's 6 o'clock because of the network coverage of that game. So it's an hour earlier on Monday against the Mets. Don't show up late. We need you here right off the top. And Rock, don't you be late, because the Brewers Live pregame show will kick off at 5:30.
I'm glad you told me.
Gallardo with 80 pitches thus far. He has retired 14 in a row. The last Giants hit was Juan Uribe's single back in the second inning. Giovanni's only given up 3 hits. 2 singles, which came back to back in the second, and then Sandoval's home run in the first. Molina is 0 for 2. That one's well hit. Deep right field. Corey Hart at the track with room. He's got it. And one gone here in the 7th.
Enter the Train to Win sweepstakes presented by Amtrak Hiawatha. Win train and game tickets to see the Brewers play the Cubs at Wrigley Field on September 17th. See Brewers.com for details. You know, next week you and I are going to be on that Hiawatha line.
Better
Go to
believe
Wrigley
it.
Field
Down to Chicago
on Thursday morning.
I love that train.
That's the way to go. No fuss, no muss.
Hour and 14 minutes from Mitchell to downtown Chicago.
No construction. You don't have to worry about it. No tolls.
Oh, and 2 to Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa struck out in the 4th inning. He's one of 6 Gallardo strikeouts.
I'll tell you what's set up this night for Gallardo is his good curveball, because he's been able to throw that pitch for strikes. He's been throwing it early in the 1st inning. He's been throwing a lot of them like that.
And down goes Ishikawa, number 7 for Giovanni.
You know what that curveball reminds me of? A Ben Sheets curveball. I mean, throwing it hard, getting on top of it, basically coming out of the same arm slider that the fastball is. That's one of those power curveballs. I mean, I haven't seen too many of those from Gallardo early in the season, but it reminds you a lot of the one Sheeter used to throw.
And there are a lot of guys in this league who will ditch the curveball if they're not throwing it for strikes early. Jason Kendall almost calls it to an extreme if Gallardo is not throwing it for strikes. That's why Gallardo's pitch count was so high in Cleveland, and why he walked so many batters. 6 batters, a career high for Gallardo. But Kendall knows that one inning leads to the next, one start leads to the next, and he continues to call for that curveball just so Giovanni can get the feel. And I remember the at-bat that Gallardo had against Matt Cain in the 2nd inning. He threw the pitcher a lot of curveballs in that at-bat.
Yes, he did. 3 of them.
He seemed to find the breaking ball during that at-bat. That's a fair ball, and a fan reaches out and grabs it. So that is going to be a double. Remember, don't reach out there and grab it unless you know it's foul. I know the anxiousness takes over, but tough to fight the reflexes.
It's awfully tempting, but you can't do it. Yeah, fastball in, and Sherholt's able to get enough of it just out of the reach of Prince. Probably would have been a double anyway, but still in all, you can't interfere with a ball in play. Didn't mean it.
He feels bad. It's not exactly a Bartman situation, but
did you notice the 2 ladies on either side of him pretended like they didn't even know him?
I don't know this guy. I've never heard of this guy. Never seen him before. He just showed up.
I don't know. Not my fault.
But as soon as they get out of the ballpark, it'll be all right. Who gets the ball?
Yeah, who do you think is going to end up with that baseball?
Runner at second now with 2 outs. So Gallardo retires 16 straight between hits. One ball, one strike to the Giants shortstop, Juan Uribe. Chased one. Boy, that one had plenty of bite on it. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, there are starts when Gallardo's curveball just kind of rolls out of his hand, doesn't have that sharp break on it, but boy, tonight, what a curveball he's showing. When you see big league hitters swing at that many pitches in the dirt, you know it's a good pitch. They're having a tough time reading it out of his hand.
What does he throw? 1-2. Curveball. Kendall blocks it. 2-2.
You see, that curveball tonight, is the trajectory of it is the same coming out of his hand as the fastball. That's what makes it so difficult to pick up. Sometimes you throw that curveball, it kind of comes out and it goes up before it goes down. That's when hitters see it and get a pretty good look at it.
Pitch number 94 from Gallardo. Kendall gets down to block another one. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now Uribe laced a fastball back up the middle in the second inning. Gallardo broke his bat in the 5th inning. A little soft liner out to Counsell. So he's 1 for 2. Brewers lead by 4 in the 7th. And Gallardo throws a curveball. Uribe lays off. A lot of breaking balls in that sequence.
Hard to walk that guy.
That's the first walk given up by Giovanni to go along with 7 punchouts. So 2 aboard, and it's Matt Downs. .95 pitches for Gallardo with 2 outs in the 7th. And now Kendall wants to have a minute with Gallardo. Bill Castro to the phone. Cubs beat the White Sox today, 5-4. The Reds are getting whooped by the Indians, 9-2. Cleveland has the lead over Cincinnati. That game's in the bottom of the ninth, no, top of the ninth, excuse me. The Minnesota Twins now lead 3-0 over the Cardinals in the bottom of the 6th. Glenn Perkins firing a 2-hit shutout for the Twins against the Cardinals in St. Louis.
Well, the American League Central dominating the National League Central this year.
And only the Cardinals have a winning record in interleague play. Quick trip from Castro, and now Gallardo back to work. 2 on, 2 out. Downs is 0 for 2. And that one is into right. Corey Hart to the track. He's got it. And the inning is over. So Gallardo gets out of it, strands 2 more. 5-1. The Brewers lead it. Ryan Braun will hit when we come back.
Brew Crew lead San Francisco 5-1, bottom of the 7th, and Davies going to head to Summerfest after the game at this pace. Plenty of time as Giovanni Gallardo cruising against the Giants. What have you liked so far?
Got it going on all cylinders. He's been really been able to spot his fastball, has a good breaking ball going, and his tempo is really outstanding. You know, he's been able to move the ball in and out, elevate it when he needs to. He's been total control ever since the first inning after he gave up the home run. Then the second inning had a couple runners on, but came right on strong and retired 16 in a row after that.
All right, our on-field instructional after the ballgame, taking the turn at first base. Bill and Davey will break that down coming up on Brewers Live postgame. Brian?
All right, Craig, thanks a lot. Fans driving all the way from Washington, D.C. to catch the Brewers here. That's the way to go. That's a pretty good haul, right?
I bet we'll see them when we go to D.C. in August.
No question. 4-game series against the Nationals.
With an off day, we're going to have to move our all our furniture in there. We're going to be there 5 days. Get in Wednesday night and leave Monday night.
You've been looking ahead at the old schedule, haven't you?
I have.
Nice going. That's what we count on him for. Council takes a strike.
I don't know game times, but I know where we're going to be.
Just make sure you're here by 6:08 on Monday. Kane has given up 5 runs, but he's working in his 7th inning. And a bouncer over to Ishikawa. 1 out here in the 7th. And here comes J.J. Hardy, who belted his 7th home run on the Powerball home run count. Back in the 3rd. 2 hits tonight for Hardy. 7 homers, 30 runs batted in for the Brewers shortstop. Ken Maka made a couple of switches in his lineup prior to the game tonight. That had us talking early. Hardy back in the 2-hole.
It's JJ's favorite spot in the batting order, and why wouldn't it be?
And Maka putting McGee in the 5-hole, and both have delivered with RBIs. McGee doubled in a run in the 1st inning. Hardy had the home run and the infield hit in the 5th.
Now, in as much as the Brewers didn't take advantage of runners on in that Twins series, doing a nice job tonight. 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
We talked to Ken Maka before the game, and we're talking about how he feels it more as a National League manager and thinks about it more often, more sleepless nights managing in the National League than he ever did in the American League. You feel more a part of the game in the National League as Hardy strikes out. And I thought it was interesting. He said, Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder put up these great numbers. It's my responsibility, as you see Ryan Braun's at the plate presented by Wendy's. It's my responsibility as a manager to put some guys at the top of the order to get on base. I mean, that's a manager who is feeling a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's pretty much the easiest job that he has. I mean, the toughest job for a National League manager is, managing the pitching staff, making sure the bench players get plenty of opportunities to get in there. The double switches, taking a pitcher out that's throwing the baseball well in lieu of defense or in lieu of offense. Much more difficult to get through a game for a National League manager than the American League. You take and point that game. The Brewers won 14-12. Not one bench player used the entire night.
That was in Cleveland.
Makes it a lot easier. You don't have to make nearly as many decisions.
And the skipper is glad to be back playing National League baseball against same league opponents. Braun strikes out. Kane has 9 punchouts. But the Brewers lead at 5-1.
Kane can stand next to a Brewers player during the national anthem before the ball game. Pick up an entry form at your local National City branch.
8th inning here at Miller Park. Gallardo back on the mound. 97 pitches, and he's only surrendered the 1 run. That was a home run by Pablo Sandoval in the 1st inning. Pinch hitter Andres Torres, a switch hitting outfielder, in for Matt Cain. So Cain is done. Finishes with a flurry, however. Cain retires the final 6 he faces with 5 strikeouts. So even on a bad night for Matt Cain, when he surrenders 5 earned runs, he still pitches effectively. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts tonight for Cain. Uncharacteristic for Cain to walk 4. The 5 runs, the most he's given up all season. He gave up 5 against the Rockies in his only loss way back in early May. And Gallardo walks Torres. There's the final numbers for Matt Cain. 7 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs all earned, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. And 5 of those 9 strikeouts came in the last 2 innings.
Only 6 base hits, with the Brewers' ability to get the extra base hits, particularly early in the ball game, while they were able to get those 5 runs. In Matt Cain's last 6 starts, the most hits he's allowed has been 6. That's happened 3 times. That's not bad. Not a bad night for an off night.
Villanueva getting loose. Giants have a couple of switch hitters coming up next. Randy Wynn and Pablo Sandoval. Top of the order, Aaron Rowand at the plate. And Gallardo in there with a strike. Well, the Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text the broadcast tonight. Rock, they want to know, what are the first baseman and opposing base runners constantly chatting about? Niner and Marshall.
I guess it depends on if they know each other. Maybe they saw each other in the minor leagues. They might have grown up together. Who knows? Maybe talking about the Heat. I bet that was a big topic of conversation at first base over the weekend. How hot it was down on the field.
Just small talk, right?
Yeah, small talk. Not talking about strategy. I don't think Prince is going to say to Torres, second pitch, we're going to try and pick you off. I don't think that's part of what goes on.
In the dirt, Kendall blocks it. Keeps the double play intact. Ricky Henderson used to tell first baseman when he was running, right?
Didn't matter.
I'm out of here.
Even if you knew. Even if you knew he was going, you couldn't throw him out. Couldn't throw him out and couldn't pick him off.
That didn't work so well for Willie Mays Hayes, though. Two balls, 2 strikes. Gallardo trying to push his way through this 8th inning. And the manager is thinking this is a key inning. Top of the order. But their best hitters coming up. But the Brewers have a 4-run lead. And Gallardo punches out Aaron Rowand with a fastball. Number 8 for Gallardo.
8 strikeouts and 2 walks for Yo, having a tremendous night. Just right at the bottom of the strike zone, and Paul Nauert rings him up. Good pitch. Right at the knees.
1 gone, and here's Randy Wynn. Now it's Coffey who gets loose. The thinking is, if you need Coffey in this inning, there are going to be base runners. And you'll need a ground ball type pitcher, which is exactly what Coffey is. Otherwise, you get to the 9th. If Gallardo can get through this 8th, then it would be Hoffman.
Yeah, Coffey is one of the best that the Brewers have from the right side anyway, with men on base coming in the middle of an inning.
Strike. fastball from Gallardo. Oh, 0-2 the count on Wynn.
What do you think the odds are Wynn's going to get one of those power curveballs here? Down in the dirt.
The catcher calls it. Kendall will be on his toes. Runner takes off, and the curveball is low. Good pitch to run on. Torres steals the base. Number 4 for Andres Torres. That's part of base running as well. You know, good base stealers pick the right kind of pitches to run on.
Everybody in the ballpark knew it was going to be a curveball. Take off. And most of them have been down in the zone. Tough for a catcher to throw.
Now a base hit, scores a run. And Wynn strikes out Gallardo with a fastball, 92 miles an hour. Up the ladder, and down goes Wynn. Back-to-back punch-outs with the heater here in the 8th inning.
And fastball, curveball down in the dirt, and elevate the fastball, strike 3. Well, he's got it going on tonight. He has got tremendous command of the strike zone.
And just the hint of hesitation because of the curveball. That fastball basically in the same line of sight.
Yeah.
Doesn't break, stays straight through the zone. As Dale Swaim says, he's got the finishing kick to get the strikeout. Sandoval, a mighty cut.
Well, 110th pitch and 93 miles an hour. Really hasn't lost much. Actually, 111 now.
.65 of those 111 pitches for strikes. He's thrown 19 more strikes than he has balls. And Sandoval fouls it back. He's 0-2 on Pablo Sandoval. The only run Gallardo was allowed. Sandoval's home run in the first. The big crowd trying to help Gallardo out here. 2 outs in the 8th. It's the same pitch he struck him out on in the 3rd inning. Command is still good, even though the last 2 pitches out of the strike zone, exactly where Gallardo wants to put him.
And particularly with this guy at the plate. Haven't seen many sliders, haven't seen many changeups. That last pitch was a changeup. It's basically been the fastball and the curveball. That's all he's needed so far.
Another 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece. Sandoval chased one up there. Had a good cut at it, though. Count stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gallardo now with 116 pitches. The most he's thrown this season, 126. That was against the Cardinals. 8 shutout innings against St. Louis that day back in May. What a matchup here. 2 of the great young talents in the game. 23-year-old Gallardo with 22-year-old Sandoval.
Gotta believe last hitter for Giovanni Gallardo, regardless. It's a lot of pitches. That pitch count's starting to rise.
Can he reach back for one more? 3-2 the count. The pitch just missed. And the second walk of the inning. Only the third walk of the game, and decision time for Ken Maka.
He's got no choice.
And Gallardo's coming out 7 2/3.
118 pitches. That's it. Get him out of there.
Well, he will leave to a standing ovation. Gallardo 7 2/3, just one run, and he'll turn it over to his bullpen. But he earns our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Giovanni 7 2/3, 9 strikeouts. Gives up just one run on 4 hits. However, 2 runners hits responsibility. Pitch count got him here in the 8th. After 2 strikeouts, Gallardo exits this ball game with a chance to win his 8th of the year. 3 walks in the last 6 batters. There's only 3 walks, and he turns it over to Coffey. That's where all the action is down below right there. Those legs are moving. There's a lot moving.
No mistaking who that is coming in. The anti-Lee Smith.
That's entertaining every night.
Well, 34th appearance for Coffey. One of the best the Brewers have, coming in the middle of an inning with men on base. Last pitched on Wednesday. Got a win against the Twins.
Well, Coffey will face Benji Molina, the Giants cleanup hitter. 2 on. The tying run is in the on-deck circle. As Coffey tries to finish off this 8th inning and strand 2 of Gallardo's runners on base. Molina, a free swinger. 0 for 3 tonight. And he hits it high in the air to left. Braun has room. And that is the inning. The Giants strand 2. Still 5-1 Brewers. To the bottom of the 8th we go. game reset. The story tonight, Yovani Gallardo, 7 2/3, 9 strikeouts, just 1 run allowed. That run came on a Sandoval homer in the very first inning. The Brewers have used the long ball as well. J.J. Hardy, his 500th career hit, a home run in the third. That made it 3-1. Braun drove in his second run of the game in the 5th inning. And then Fielder with a sacrifice fly in the 5th as well to put this game at a 5-1 score, and that's where we are currently. As Merkin Valdez takes over for Matt Cain here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Now 3.68 ERA for Valdez, 22nd game. It's been 4 days since he's been out there. Got off to a pretty good start, but has struggled lately. Much better at home than he has been on the road.
His Giants bullpen, the best earned run average in the National League. Fielder leads off. He'll be followed by McGee, then Cameron. 4, 5, and 6 in the Brewers order. The Brewers haven't had a hit since Braun's RBI single in the 5th. But to score 5 runs off Matt Cain is a significant marker. A guy who hasn't given up much at all this year. Matter of fact, Cain came in with the second best earned run average in the National League at 2.28 runs per 9 innings.
Yeah, right now he's got a loss, and it would be his first one since May 2nd. That's a pretty good stretch.
Three and 0 to Fielder. And he takes a strike. I was looking at this Giants bullpen. Overall, their ERA is 3.39. A 2.14 earned run average since May 17th. So, in about 6 weeks, they're giving up just 2 runs per 9 innings as Fielder draws the walk. Now, Casey McGee coming up. He's done it with his bat, but Rocky's also done it with his glove. The Home Depot doing more on defense.
Well, Ken Maka has somewhat, at least lately, made a commitment to Casey McGee, and he certainly delivered for him, trying to find somebody that's going to step it up. Billy Hall continues to struggle. And Matt Gamble right now on the bench, even against right-handed pitching.
McGee is 1 for 3. He started the day with a .344 batting average, which led all National League rookies. At the top of the list. Well, McGee, since he started to get some regular playing time, has really swung the bat well for Maka, and in his last 13 games, a .426 average. All 3 of his Major League home runs have come in those last 13 games, and he's driven in 9. He just missed his 4th home run when he hit one off the top of the wall against Cain in the first inning. I mean, missed it by inches. It hit just below the yellow line, 400 feet away in straightaway center field. And the highest batting average in all of baseball for the month of June. Casey McGee.
And why wouldn't he be getting at bats, huh?
A wise old catcher once said, "The bat plays."
The bat plays.
Here's the double in the first. Look how close this one comes to leaving the yard. Man,
that's 6 inches.
Villanueva for the 9th. Not a save situation, so no Hoffman just yet. Casey McGee's first major league hit came against Braden Looper as a member of the Cardinals last year. You kind of feel like McGee's been around for a while, but this is his first full season in the big leagues. He got a cup of coffee last year with the Cubs. Cubs did not want to lose Casey McGee, but they ran into a roster situation where it was almost like the Cubs thought they could sneak him through waivers. But the Brewers were on top of it. And when you put up 90-plus RBIs in a minor league season, you're going to get some attention, and the Brewers snatched him up.
And you can play multiple positions.
That's right. McGee actually caught around 20 games last year. Takes a called strike 3. And it's out number 1 here in the 8th inning.
Well, Valdez, I mean, he can bring it, this guy. I have 96 on the gun. He's got what they refer to as a rubber arm. He can throw a lot. He kind of slings the baseball. Tall and lanky. All arms and legs coming at you, and he got some pretty good velocity to back it up. Right on the bicep. That hurts.
Missed the padding.
Wasn't going to rub it, though, was he?
The ball went inside his chest protector. Check it out. Right in there.
Yep.
It's the hidden ball trick.
I was wondering where it went.
Benji has had a tough time tonight, not with just the foul balls, but a harrowing experience against the Clements Racing Sausages.
Yeah, foul tips, nothing.
The Brat almost wiped him out clean. But he's tough. One of 3 Molinas catching in the big leagues. Here's a quick summary of Benji Molina's day. This shot off the bicep, and then earlier today, see, problems.
See, the foul tip you kind of expect. You don't expect to get run over by giant meat.
That's going to be funny for a while. Into center field, pretty well hit, but Rowan runs it down. And it's out number 2. Doc, you caught many years in the big leagues. Do you ever have any experiences with a mascot?
With a mascot? No. They didn't have as many mascots back then. They really didn't.
What about Barrel Man?
No, he didn't ever run around the ballpark. It was Bernie Brewer back then. Bernie would run around the old slide at County Stadium. There he is. He hasn't changed much.
He really hasn't changed at all.
Hasn't aged a bit.
Handsome devil, isn't he? Corey Hart with 2 outs and a runner at first. Brewers trying to tack some runs on here in the 8th. Been a good night at the ballpark so far. Milwaukee in desperate need of a turnaround after losing 2 out of 3 to the Twins. This is a part of the schedule the Brewers are trying to take advantage of. 9-game homestand. Quick 4 games on the road in Chicago, and then right back here at Miller Park for a 6-game homestand. So 15 of 19 games in front of their friendly fans. But Ken Maka is the first to point out, yes, the Brewers are home a lot, but the competition is pretty strict. But the Twins, the Giants, the Mets, the Dodgers coming to town on the next homestand.
Yeah, Cardinals. All playoff contending teams, every one of them.
Hitters count for Hart with fielders still at first. 3-2. Don't forget, we're back on WMLW tomorrow night. 6 o'clock we hit the air. Following the game tonight, Brewers Live, presented by Lincoln Mercury. As Hart draws the walk. 2 on. A couple of walks given up by Valdez here in the 8th. How's your instructional looking tonight, Brock?
We're talking about rounding first base. Davey Nelson was a base stealer. He was a first base coach. No better guy to talk about rounding first on a base hit than Davey Nelson.
Who will actually be doing the rounding of first?
Dave was talking about a bad ankle.
Uh-huh.
That might have to be me.
Uh-oh. Throw some water on the rocks.
I'll bring some water down. The water we have in those bottles in the refrigerator.
Literally the water on the rock, you're
right.
saying.
Yeah.
Kendall gets jammed, a little flare. Rowan coming in, and he reaches out and makes the catch. Outstanding catch by Aaron Rowan. That saved a run. And the Brewers come up empty in the 8th. We head to the 9th. Last call for the Giants. There's Davey and Craig. They can't wait. To the 9th we go at beautiful Miller Park, and it's time to close our polls on the texting tonight. The better addition to the game, interleague play or wild card, and 62% went with the wild card. Good choice. I agree. I agree with the Y. Except you think maybe the W could be the wild card because it starts with a W, but either way, fans figured it out. And Carlos Villanueva is on to pitch the 9th with 4-run lead to work with.
Well, 33rd appearance for Carlos, a 4.50 ERA. That was a stretch where he was having a tough time of it, but has turned things around as of late. Nice to come in with a 4-run cushion.
Ishikawa leads off. Todd Coffey gets out of the 8th inning with 2 men aboard. They got Molina to pop up to left field to end it. And Gallardo finishes with 7 2/3 and 1 earned run, striking out 9. Ishikawa sends one high up the pipe. 1 away. Ken Maka hoping Trevor Hoffman will not have to be used tonight. It's always a good thing when you can win a game without using Trevor Hoffman, because when you need him, sometimes you need him in spurts. Hoffman's been able to pitch in 3 consecutive games on a couple of occasions this year.
Hasn't been very often where he's been used in a non-save situation. And it's not like he really needs the work. It's not like, you give Trevor Hoffman a week off and he's going to be stale and going to have a tough time out there trying to find his command. He's got such a regimented and strict routine, even when he doesn't pitch, that he's always sharp. He always feels as though he's got his good stuff in his command.
And 17 years worth of big league memories saving games as well helps.
That'll help. Yeah.
He saved a game here on Wednesday, Hoffman did. That was his 17th. Gallardo in line for his 8th win. And coming as advertised tonight.
What a great pitching performance tonight. My goodness.
Gallardo is fast becoming a must-see pitcher in baseball. And he is making a strong bid for an all-star appearance as well. The reigning Cy Young Award winner, Tim Lincecum, possibly pitching here on Sunday. We'll see. Giants have not issued their rotation past tomorrow. The Brewers, meanwhile, will send up Seth McClung tomorrow, coming out of the bullpen.
Which makes that start by Giovanni pitching deep into the 8th inning all that much more important. You save as much of your bullpen as you can, because even if Seth is on target and he's pitching well, you can't expect him to throw 100 pitches. Hasn't come anywhere close to that all season long. So you figure your bullpen's going to be active tomorrow at some point.
Villanueva strikes out Schierholtz. Out number 2. Well, the Giants, in their 5-man starting rotation, boast 3 Cy Young Award winners. The Brewers might see 2 of them. They know they'll see one of them tomorrow in Barry Zito. Zito matching up against McClung. Zito has struggled here at Miller Park. Giants down to their last out. And first ball swinging is Uribe. That is going to roll foul. I thought for a minute McGee was going to flop down and try to blow it foul.
Can't do that anymore. Yeah, no chance for McGee. You really can hope that the ball rolls foul. Took it a while, but it did.
Brewers started the day a game back of the Cardinals. St. Louis at home against the Twins. They're in the 9th inning at Busch, and it's 3-1 Minnesota. The 1-1. Another little roller. Foul. 1-2 the count to Uribe. Brewer pitching tonight has posted 10 strikeouts. Gallardo with 9, Villanueva with 1. Down the line, slicing foul. Got him. A strikeout to end it. And the Milwaukee Brewers win the opener of this 3-game series. Giovanni Gallardo to 8-4 with the victory here today. 7 2/3 innings for Gallardo. Coffey and Villanueva finish it off. And the Brewers even it up on the homestand. 2 wins apiece. 5-1 the final score here tonight. The Brewers beat Matt Cain and the Giants. Stay with us now. Brewers Live. Coming up next, Kevin Davey right after the turn.